to Daniel Sohege now, who's the Director of Stand for All. Daniel, what do you make of the situation in regard to Syrian asylum seekers who are here in this country? Because we've heard what Yvette Cooper has had to say. They're just having a think at the moment. They're working out what to do. What do you think they should do?
Well, thanks for having me on, Peter. I think the decision's been made probably too quickly on this. There will be people who will voluntarily return to Syria. We're seeing refugees crossing the border at the moment from Turkey and everyone else. But with the applications in the system at the moment, you've got people who, they've already been waiting quite a number of months, some of these people, as we said, 6,500 odd, who've come in the last year. You're leaving people within that system still, so they're still in limbo. Now, if you're going to pause the applications, what would potentially be sensible is at least provide a temporary right to work for them so they can support themselves, and then you're not having other issues down the line.
But they need to be granted asylum before they can work and receive...
Yes, this is what I mean by...
But I suppose the point is, look, from the government's perspective, they're saying, look, the circumstances and the basis of that asylum claim has fundamentally changed within the last few days. So why, from their perspective, should they continue to process something on the basis that it has been put in on, when that basis has changed substantially, when actually, if you just wait a month or so, or perhaps a little longer, when these people, yes, they're in limbo, and that's not nice, but at the same time, having the rights and of leave to remain and rights of asylum status in the UK, well, that's something that they may not be entitled to because the circumstances have changed. I think I can see the logic there. I just wonder what you think, Daniel.
Well, it is a complex situation. The reasons that many people have left have changed, but we've also looked at a situation where it's still going to be very unstable for quite a period of time. I mean, as your previous guest said, we've got an organisation taking a major role in this, which is still a prescribed terrorist organisation in many, many countries. So we need to look at that, and claims in general with asylum need to be processed on the individual basis. So you're not really meant under international law to say, right, we are not processing any claims from any country on this. You do it on an individual case-by-case.
But the individual basis is related, is it not, very, very clearly to the overarching political situation that existed until 48, 72 hours ago?
Not specifically in all instances. It can be also down, bearing in mind Syria had a massive, complete breakdown of governance in certain areas. There were other issues coming into play. It wasn't just Assad, who was obviously the main reason for a lot of it. But it was also lack of protection, lack of functioning government. That hasn't changed in a lot of respects because it is going to take time. And we've seen with Libya, with Iraq...
There aren't really that many people coming to this. Maybe there are, Daniel, people coming to this country saying, well, there's not a functioning state in Syria, therefore I'm coming to you and claiming asylum on that basis. Surely there's not a functioning state, and by the way, Bashar al-Assad and his murderous regime wants to kill me and my family, is a much greater and stronger reason to receive asylum in this country. And also, what about the people who have received asylum based on that basis since 2011? I mean, surely that basis is now gone in many respects.
Well, keep in mind that refugee status only lasts for 5 years before you either renew it or you apply for permanent residency. So when you're processing these claims, it is not a permanent thing. It is not an automatic, you are staying here forever anyway. People have that 5-year period, and that will be coming up to point for many people in this situation. So this will be a question of reviewing it based upon how safe the country is. But a lot of these areas, it wasn't just Assad. You are still going to see sporadic fighting in many areas. You're going to see old reprisals where people do not have the protection of the state. And that's why you've got to look at the individual cases. That's why pausing them isn't really this is a very complex situation. I'm not trying not to...
I get that. I totally get it. I think we agree mostly, Daniel, but my point would be, because this is such a complex situation, because we don't know, surely it makes sense to say, well, actually, but we need to wait and see what the situation in Syria is going to be like, who's going to be in control, what that means for these refugees and asylum seekers, what that actually means for them before we process. I mean, what's the point in a civil servant sitting there, or a group of civil servants or government lawyers or whatever, processing something which the basis of which has fundamentally changed? That would be kind of my point. They've been in limbo for some time anyway. That's not nice. But nonetheless, they're a lot safer here than they would be in Syria. If that extends for another month or two, I can live with that.
If they had said, we are pausing them for this period of time, for a month to review.
But it's not going to be indefinite, Daniel, is it?
But this is the problem. When you put this down, you've got people who, bearing in mind, I mean, going back to the individual nature of this, people are already in fear. They're looking at what's going on. Syrians are looking at what's happening. Their future is completely in chaos for a lot of people. They don't know what's happening in the country. You don't add uncertainty to that. Now, if Yvette Cooper had said, we're pausing them for a month while we figure out what's going on, people would feel a lot safer.
But then I suppose they would be under pressure. I mean, it's not often I defend Yvette Cooper, but she would be under pressure in a month's time, even if the situation is still incredibly volatile, to say, well, you've got now, you must, you said it would be a month, now you must process these asylum claims. I mean, the fact that it's, you know, the fact that you don't know and I don't know and nobody knows what's going to happen in Syria. I mean, Yvette Cooper doesn't know either whether in a month's time it's all going to be perfectly safe and reasonable and all these people can go home and everything will be marvellous, or the fact that the tinderbox that Andrew Fox has told us about, the fact that there was coercion, there was a brutal dictatorship for a long time, that is now lifted and gone, and the vacuum that is filled may be better, may be worse, depending, and it may well have, you know, you may well be in a situation now where people say, okay, well, Syria's changed, off you go home, and your asylum claim is denied, and in a month's time that person, that refugee's status and their personal circumstances may be far worse.
Well, the priority has to be, in all cases, the safeguarding and protection of the individuals, and whether that's the people who are already in the system, or there will be other people who leave and seek asylum from Syria based on the change. And that does include their mental health as well as their physical safety upon if they were returned or if they are remaining here. And that's where Cooper has to really come from on what is going to protect people.
Daniel Sohege, thank you for coming on. Appreciate your thoughts today as the Director of Stand for All.